What's up, guys? This is Kal-El coming at you once again with some rail fan window footage from the R32 C train, Too Strong, riding from Cathedral Parkway, 110th Street, all the way down to Fulton Street. And here we go. So the C train starts all the way up at 168th Street and it terminates all the way in Euclid Avenue in Brooklyn. So now we're entering 103rd Street. Transfer is available to the B train. So the C train happens to be one of my favorite local lines in the system, mostly because it's my home line since 110th Street Cathedral Parkway is the home of yours truly, and also because it has most of the R32s running on that line. So now we're at 96th Street, and the B train will be a transfer, the only transfer available up until 59th Street. So now we're approaching 86th Street. What gets me is that a lot of people label the C train as one of the worst lines in the system. But I don't know why. It's mostly because they're hating on the equipment that they use on the C train, such as these R32s right here. But like I always say, what I don't like is that a lot of people look at these trains as nothing. But in reality, these trains have a lot of history behind them. So I don't see what's there to not like. It's pretty cool horn usage there for that D train. This is either an R68 or an R68A. I'm not really sure because it's dark, you can't really see it. But it's one of those two. Yeah, by the way, that's the D train. It starts all the way up in Norwood 205th Street in the Bronx. And it'll take you all the way down to Coney Island in Brooklyn. I remember I used to like the D train back when they had the R40 slants and R40 mods on that line, because they had the rail fan window. I remember the R40 slants had the coolest rail fan windows of all. Ever since the R40s were retired in 2009, the D train became boring to me. Now I don't hate the D train. It's just that, and I don't hate the R68s or 68As at all. It's just that, you know, it's just boring without the rail fan window. Okay, so now we're at 81st Street, which is also home to the Museum of Natural History. And the next stop will be 72nd Street. It's also cool when you have a motorman who really knows what he's doing and likes to haul ass through the tunnels. That's the best time to catch the rail fan window footage. Okay, so now we're entering 72nd Street. So now we'll be entering 59th Street, Columbus Circle. Yeah, look, there goes an R46 on the A train right there to in with 207th Street. Yeah, we caught up to that D train that we saw earlier. So that's an R68 from the concourse yard. And then at the station you could transfer to the B and the D and the A. You can also transfer over to the IRT 8th Avenue line, the 1, 2, and 3 train, otherwise known as the Red Rocket, because it's the fastest train in the system. It's also your last chance to catch the B and D train, because after this they'll be turning on to 7th Avenue. Now we're entering 50th Street, which is where the E train comes into play. In other words, you can transfer over to the E train, even though the E train kind of slows you down a little bit. In the words of the Super Sly Brothers, don't let that bitch get in front of you. Otherwise known as the Red Devil, because they used to have R32s on the E train, and even R46s, and further back they even had R38s and R42s and R40 mods, if I can remember correctly. But now it's now 100% new tech, so now there's R160s on that line. And honestly, I don't really care for the 160s that much, but oh well. 42nd Street, Port Authority Bus Terminal. Transfers available to the A train, Express. And also transfer over to the IRT, 8th Avenue line. And the 7 train to Flushing, Main Street in Queens. You can also transfer over to the R, W, N, and Q train. You can also transfer over to Times Square Shuttle, otherwise known as the Times Square S train. It can take you all the way over to Grand Central Station, 42nd Street. So you can transfer over to the IRT Lexington Avenue line, 4, 5, and 6 trains. So now we're entering 34th Street, Penn Station. Transfers available to the 1, 2, 3, the A, and the E train. Transfers also available to the Long Island Railroad. Buses you can transfer to are the M4, M7, M20, M34, M34A Select Bus Service, Q32, New Jersey Transit. You can also transfer over to the Amtrak and New York City Airport Service. So now we're entering 23rd Street. Transfers available to the E train. Hey, look, there goes an R32 on the C train to 168th Street. So now we're at 14th Street. Now there's a transfer available to the L train to Canarsie. Curving on into West 4th Street, Washington Square. Transfers available to the D, E, F, and M train, as well as the B. Spring Street. It goes to R160 on the E train. Transfer is also available to the E as well. Not really much to say about Spring Street. But, well, it goes to R46 on the A right there as well. Making its way down to either Lefferts, Rockaway Park, or Rockaway Boulevard. The reason why I say those three is because there's 3 A trains, one to Rockaway, one to Rockaway Park, and one to Lefferts. There is too many timers on the A train on 8th Avenue, and that's why the C train is faster than the A most of the time. And plus, the A train is the longest line in the system, and it's one of those lines where if one thing goes wrong, the whole line is screwed. So it's pretty lucky to have the C train as its partner, because it saves its ass most of the time. Oh, before I forget, the best time to catch the A train is during the PM rush hours, because that's when they send out the R32s and the R68 or 68A on the A train. It's pretty interesting to catch, especially with the R32, because you can rail fan window your way all the way from 207th Street all the way down to Far Rockaway or the Lefferts or wherever the A train takes you. I remember many years ago, the C train used to go to Rockaway Park. And a while back, it used to go to Lefferts. On occasions, that does happen sometimes to fill in for the A train. And on rare occasions, like recently, the C train was sent down to Coney Island to make up for the B and D line. A good friend of mine, DJ Hammers, caught that. You can subscribe to him on YouTube, and I'll put his link underneath the description box. So now we're entering Canal Street. Transfer is available to the A and E train once again. See, I told you we'd catch up to that A train. There's train traffic ahead because of the E train, which is why I always say never let that bitch get in front of you, because it slows you down sometimes. Oh, and also the A train, as you can see, that's an R46, which those are some pretty decent cars. Almost as reliable as the R32s, but a bit younger and kind of has a bit of a messed up background. Those were delivered between 74 and 75. And those were a lot better than the counterparts, the R44s, which majority of them are sitting at the bottom of the ocean. And I have to say, I'm kind of glad that the R44s are gone, because those trains were brutal. I'm sure they have some on the Staten Island Railway, but those are their own sets of R44s, so they're not really the same. Now we're entering Chambers Street, which I guess is your last chance to transfer over to the E train. What gets me is that a lot of people look at the C train as the worst line in the entire system, but in reality, I think it's the most helpful line in the system because it saves your ass from trouble on the A train, especially when you know the A train is one of those lines where if one thing goes wrong, the whole line is screwed. And it also kind of saves your back if the E train has problems, and as well as from several other lines that go in the same direction. I also want to take this time to give a brief shout out to the Super Subway brothers and to all my fellow transit allies here on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook. So now we're entering Fulton Street. Transfers available to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and J and Z trains. Remember, you guys can always subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Instagram and you can friend me on Facebook. I'll be putting all my info down in the description box. So this is it for this video. And with that said, this is Kal-El, thanking you guys for watching. Look forward to hearing from each and every one of you guys.